Ooh, what's going on, everybody? Got a big update here for you guys today. Back with the audio layers again. We've been doing a bunch of work to this asset in the last month or two just because we've had a lot of interest in it and people keep requesting features. So if you want to see assets get updated or made, be sure to join the Discord and let me know what those are, because that is how my priority list gets reshuffled. If I have a bunch of people asking to update or enhance something that's already released, it's going to get pushed towards the top. Now, for what we're actually looking at today, we have big updates to and completely new additions to our asset. I think we're just going to go ahead and make this V3 instead of a smaller update. And we also have some explanation on things I didn't properly explain in the last two videos on this asset. So first things first, let's go ahead and take a look at our world audio emitters. This is where most people had a lot of requests. So this is now capable of handling multiple audio layers simultaneously. So what that means is one set of world audio can be mapped to different layers with one set of audio instead of having to duplicate them. In addition to that, you can control the volume it displays at for each layer. So it could be 100%, 80%, 0%, and you can control that all from one world audio emitter. Now, not only can you do that, but you can control the volume, you can make it fade not only that, but you can make it fade the audio, the world audio, if you want to. You don't have to. As you can see, it says optional. Now, you can set the fade duration and the curve for that. So this is your fade curve, and it says curve evaluated from 0 to 1 over the fade duration, time, and progress. So what that means is you click on this, and it says it starts at 0 at 0 seconds in, or at 0% in, and then by the completion, it is complete. So you can adjust this curve just by however you see fit. It's super customizable, and that is the kind of the point. So you can make it fade how you want. Very diverse. Now, that is pretty cool and good. That's kind of a minor addition to the overall systems we're going with here. Now we also have this red zone here. Now I turned on the renderers just so we can visually see what we're looking at. Normally these are all invisible zones. But let's go ahead and take a look at this red one here. This is our new boost zone. Essentially, if you stand in this, your voice is boosted to everybody else inside the same layer. If you're not in that layer, you still will not hear it. So it uses this boost profile, which is new, and this is how you set up how loud and how far you can be heard from. So you can set this gain, which is the actual volume, your voice level. You can set this to anything you want. If you want to be real loud, set it to 100, and you can set it to 100 meters or 1,000 or 10,000. Set it as far as you want to cover your area for this boost area. Now we also have a microphone edition. You can see it right here. This works very similar to the boost zone, but instead of when you're standing in a zone you're boosted, it's when you're actually using the pickup on the microphone. And don't worry, we're going to look at all of this in game and see how it works. I just wanted to cover everything real quick, and then we'll do that. So you have your mic, which is active when you are using it or holding the mouse button down or controller button, and then inactive when you are not. And there is an indicator for that as well. Now you need to set all of these up still in the manager, which has some new things. Make sure all your zones are set. So you have your boost zones, your box zones for layers, and your microphones. And not only do you have all of this, but we have one more thing to cover, which is actually in our manager by default. I just never talked about it, which is this occlusion mask. So what in the world does occlusion mask mean? Why is it set the default, and what does it do? Well, let's jump into the test world and we'll take a look. All right, so here we are, and while we're right here, let's go ahead and take a look at the microphone. I was on the wrong screen, excuse me. I was controlling that guy. So, as you can see, picking up microphone. Let's talk normally. So you're going to hear a little... Okay, so when we pick up the microphone, we're going to go ahead and talk, and you can hear through the feedback, hopefully, that how loud I am. Now let's go ahead and boost our voice, and it should get quite a bit louder. Hello, hello. Versus just like this. Now it's boosted. No, it's not. So you can see it does work, and that's the indicator. I don't know why I'm talking in game, and let's go check out this one. Alright, sorry for that horrible feedback, but you get the point. It works, and it shows a green indicator to show when you are boosting, and the same thing with these sounds. So the interesting thing is, if you notice we actually break line of sight and talk, we won't be able to hear each other. Now, if I move back towards over here, you can hear the feedback. But then as soon as I break line of sight, you no longer hear the feedback because they can no longer hear me. This is what occlusion is with voice. Meaning if you don't have line of sight and there's something in between you and the other person, it breaks the voice, which could be really cool if you want that, or not what you're looking for at all. So let's talk about how to deal with that. So looking back at our VL manager, you can see we actually have this occlusion mask. Now this is at the default, so anything with the default layer is going to be masked. You can change this if you want a specific layer to only do the masking, nothing, or everything. That is an all or nothing strategy. If you want to leave it like it is, but also have very certain zones override it, what you can do is actually use mask override. So let's turn this on for inside this boost zone. And sometimes it's really weird about letting you click it. So just, click off of it and click back on if it won't let you. So we have this use mask override checked now. So if we actually reload, and while that's loading in the background, inside this boost zone I have a thin wall set up. And with occlusion masking on, this would separate audio from people on different sides of this wall. However, now that we've checked the toggle that says override occlusion masking, this will, inside this zone, occlusion masking will no longer take effect. And we can test this by simply placing somebody on each side of the wall here. Alright, you can see here. We had feedback. And we still had feedback. Yet if I leave that zone, occlusion masking still takes place because I cannot see inside of it, so the other client cannot hear me. So that would also take effect, except for we toggled that rule. So you can turn that on and off, or use it in a variety of ways, based on how we just looked at it. You can either have it always off, always on, or override it in certain scenarios, or even apply it only to certain objects and override it in certain scenarios. So those are kind of all the additions. We have way more capabilities with the world audio. Player audio can now be boosted via boost zones and the microphone, and a greater deep dive into occlusion masking with voices and audio. So that's how it works, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys in the next update or release.